allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Say amen.
Yes, you can.
First item is the approval of the agenda. We do have one addition. Under number 6, new business, this would be the letter P, and it's a city building inspector. Does anyone else have any changes or additions to the agenda?
Yeah, council start time. I think we should try to look at a different time.
Under new business,
Q.
this would be Q, city council start time. Are we saying just start time and what day of the month?
Well, we can have that open discussion. I'm just looking
Okay.
at starting it a couple hours earlier.
Okay. Any other changes? Hearing none, do we have a motion to accept the agenda?
So move.
So second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carried. Under number 2, consent agenda, this would be 2A minutes. Number 1 is the January 9th, 2018 City Council organizational meeting minutes. And number 2, the January 9th, 2018 City Council regular meeting minutes. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, do we have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Oppose? Motion carried. Under 2B, financial reports, we have number 1, city accounts payable December 2017 and February 2018. Number 2 is the city financial statements, January 2018. And number 3, the liquor store profit loss statement for January 2018. Any questions, discussion?
I have a question on page 9, check 43344, for fourth quarter inspections of almost $15,000. What is?
Those are the two commercial properties. That's the reason that those are so high. Plan review fees are higher on commercial buildings.
Okay.
Those are the two new.
The two,
To noon.
I mean, those are the biggest portion of that payment, but, I mean, there are other things in there, but just commercial buildings come with much, much higher fees.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we have a motion to accept consent agenda financial reports.
So move.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carried. Number 3, under public comment, this time is reserved for comments from the public on matters not listed on the agenda. Please keep comments to 3 minutes. Hearing none, we'll move on to number 4, department reports. The chief isn't here right now, but we do have his report in the packet. Let's get to the page where it starts.
2.
Any highlights, Tim, you want to bring out?
The third paragraph there has information about burglaries involving the laundromats. They are, looks like they arrested the person, but one of them at least took place in Moose Lake. It's amazing how quick that they can break into those things. It takes like less than 15 seconds to break into those. So I'm certainly glad that they got that one. A lot of investigations with drugs and all of that stuff going on. So That is kind of an ongoing thing that will pretty much be going on forever.
Well, looks like they had a good
Yeah.
stops here, and appreciate their hard work.
Yeah. Looks like they spent 3 hours at MSOP and 4 hours at DOC. And I don't know if you want to read about the arrest, but
No. The chief will be here in about 10, 15 minutes to do the 4A-B portion of his
okay.
department report.
And just a quick notice, they had 153 calls for the month, so another very busy month. Any questions for this part from the council? And if the chief does show up, if he has time, it sounds like he will, any questions can be passed on to him. And he'll take care of number B, you said? You want to speak? Okay. Under 4B, the Public Works Superintendent Report.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, January was a very slow month for us. We got a lot of shop work done and a lot of stuff done in the office as well. But February 1st came around and it just went crazy. We have had frozen water and sewer services every day from the 1st of February. So, Water Department pumped 2.1 million gallons of drinking water. Sewer Department collected 11 million gallons of wastewater. Was able to finish the MPARS permit for the Department of Natural Resources, which is, it's a permit that explains to them, which every year we have to do the same thing, but explains to the DNR how many water service connections we have, how many hydrants we have, valves, so on and so forth. It's very similar to the wind survey that we do for the wastewater, but it's for the water side. Along with that comes our payment to the DNR for taking water out of the ground. So that's all completed for the year. That went well. This week we actually had 2 water breaks already this week. So one on Monday and then one yesterday. And it's been, it's always a big game trying to figure out how to manage them the best you can, the cheapest, the fastest, that kind of thing, and what's best for everybody and the city. So we're moving along with that. Have had one frozen water service this week, and it was just up on the hill over here. But sewer services have been really bad lately. We've had, I think like I mentioned earlier, we had at least one every day since the 1st of February. So the frost is definitely going down, and things are starting to freeze. I mentioned in the January meeting for the residents as well, please go on our website, look at the frozen water and sewer line policy, look it over. If you have questions, please call. I have no problem walking people through whatever it takes to avoid this. Nobody wants to go through this. It's not a fun situation for anybody, the resident nor us. We don't like it any more than the residents do. Other than that, the street department, snow's been obviously pretty slow, and pothole filling and right-of-way clearing. That's about that's what we've been up to. So that's all I got.
Very good, thank you. Under 4C, Technology/Library Report.
The report is in there. If you have any questions, we can have Steve come out. But otherwise, we have a new firewall that's been ordered. We have a couple workstations that are being replaced that have been ordered as well. The voice over IP phones, the liquor store now has fiber ran to it, so we will get them on our phone system once Nextera is able to come out. Security cameras, he checked the last month, all of them work except for the one that keeps getting knocked out of focus. And then now that the holiday lights, I saw Water and Light was taking them down earlier in the week, so now that that one is cleared up, we should get the last one plugged in there. Other than that, no other real major items that are on there. So
Is this website visits page review? This is for number 4. 1,700 and 3,000?
yeah, so 1,700 visits, 3,000 page views. So the 1,700 people that came there obviously they went to multiple pages.
Yeah.
I have a question about the camera at the arena in the warming area. Are these kids purposely hitting this with their hockey sticks? And has there been damage to it?
Other than it gets knocked out of focus, not really, no. Are they purposefully? Maybe some of them. Who knows? They do a lot of stuff down there.
Okay.
Any other questions for technology? Hearing none? Thank you. Number 4, city engineer. Any news?
No.
Kim? Very good. 4E, Chamber of Commerce updates. Looks like Lois is here.
Well, there's 2 events coming up pretty quick. One is the Grimm's and Moose Lake Brewery Fishing Contest this Saturday. I'm not sure of the time. Anyway, I'm sure there's been ads in the paper and on the Chamber of Commerce website. And then April 21st is the Business Expo at the arena from 9 to 1 p.m. There's spaces available yet, so call the Chamber office if you want a table. And at our last meeting on February 8th, we elected officers for the Chamber. They remain the same with Tia Grakowski as president, Cassie Zimmer as vice president, Larry Peterson as treasurer, and myself as secretary. Are there any questions?
How was your event this last weekend? Do you know, Lois, the report on?
Yeah, I was down there just when it was ending around noon, and there was a few people there. They're real hopeful that was the ice bocce, and
Yeah.
they're real hopeful that'll grow over the years. They had some nice lanes plowed there, and they had wooden blocks that they used, like a curling block that they'd throw. I didn't see them do that. I just stopped in and got some pictures right before the end, and so. But they were all bundled up. It was a nice day. A little bit of wind, but they looked like they were having fun.
Great. Thank you. Number 5, previously discussed business. 5A's arena project updates.
All projects are done. We submitted for reimbursement and received the funds, so the Mighty Ducks stuff is all taken care of.
So we could erase that from the agenda.
Yep.
After today. And 5B, sales tax update.
I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that our monthly deposit has gone from $5,000 to $8,000 to $12,000. So the amount is growing that is coming in. The bad news is that we won't receive any of that. There's a Department of Revenue startup cost that's listed for $17,637.87, which is insane. So I emailed them and said, what is this? And they were very, very nice in pointing out that the agreement that we signed with them stated that we would pay them startup costs. It didn't say the startup cost would be $17,000, but we sure did sign that we would pay for the startup costs. So it'll probably be another month before we start receiving our sales tax again, but
Well, what if we would said no?
then we would have to collect it on our own, which we couldn't do.
Which would cost us more.
Yeah.
So we did make the right choice.
So I'm just going to be unhappy about this and then move on with my day.
Well, is that a percentage, or is that just some random?
It's the cost of, what they said was mailing out notices, updating their website, GIS mapping to identify the area,
Okay,
whatever.
thank you.
One-time cost, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow,
Any annual?
you sound good.
This third to last column is the Department of Revenue cost deducted. That's a monthly fee that comes out of there, and that's minimal. That's
Okay.
not a big deal.
Very good. Questions by anyone?
No.
Moving on to new business, 6A, the RFP Engineering Services.
We received 6 proposals for engineering services. In the next week or so, I'll be looking at setting up meetings with, I believe, Councilor Peterson and Councilor Sarvala, and Phil and myself are, I believe, the ones that are interviewing engineers. I think we decided that a couple months ago.
Remind me.
I don't know the times yet, but I'll schedule them with you guys as it comes.
If you have trouble or somebody can't make it, you can call me.
Sure.
6B, LBEAE, April 5th, 2018, at 11 a.m.
Our local Board of Appeals and Equalization meeting, as it says here, will be April 5th, 2018. We will be sending out or submitting to the newspaper the notices that are in here. We do have one person that completed the training. It's none of you.
I promise I will.
It was Councilor Peterson.
Not to point out names, but it's none of you.
Look this way.
No, you're not on there either. But we are in compliance. It would be nice to have more than one person have it completed, but
We may have to send Bryce to help the individual make it here that day.
maybe.
Maybe.
Or one of you could complete the training.
I promise I'll work on it.
Okay. 15 minutes at most is what it takes, just in case you were wondering.
Busy, you know. That's a girl.
Thank you. 6C, lawful gambling, Knights of Columbus.
Knights of Columbus would like to do bingo.
To have a motion by the council.
So move.
To have a second.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 6D, lawful gambling, Hope Lutheran Church.
Same thing.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 6C, Planning Commission appointment, Keith Carlson.
The Utility Commission met and discussed the planning position that generally comes from them, and they appointed, or are suggesting to appoint, Keith Carlson. We would need to accept that.
Do we have a motion to accept Keith in
I'll
that
make that
position?
motion.
Have a second? Any discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Under 6F, skid steer trailer state bid capital budget.
Yep, we budgeted to purchase a skid steer trailer. Phil would now like to purchase it. This came off the state bid, and the theme of today is that Phil went over budget. So this one, the budget that we have is $10,000, and the total for this is $10,034. So we're gonna shake him upside down.
Didn't you get $34 that came out of the sewers when you cleaned them?
Oh, yeah.
See?
Yeah, it's a wash.
All right, do you need a motion on
Yes.
on this? We have a motion.
So done.
Second?
Any discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 6G, campground and lift station pump replacement estimate.
We have 2 of these in a row, but just to start with the campground, when we budgeted, we went with, Bolton and Mink had put together a capital improvement list, and both of these were listed at $10,000. Both of them came over. This one is $13,332. So yes, it is over budget, but it is certainly something that we need to do to keep on pace, and we do have the funds for it, so.
Motion
So
to
moved.
accept. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Under 6H, Kenwood Lift Station Pump. Imagine that's the same thing.
It is, except that Phil was nice enough to point out that it is Knollwood, not Kenwood. So this is the Knollwood lift station. And yes, this one was budgeted for $10,000 as well. I still would suggest that we complete this one, and we do have the funds for it.
Where's this pump at?
Just past that guy that couldn't get water service,
Okay, all right,
at the end of that road.
okay.
It's the only way that I can describe that road from
I know
here
what you
on.
mean, I get it.
You said it was 13 also?
This one was 11,840.
Thank you.
Motion under discussion by the council.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Under 6I, plasma cutter quotes.
And this one got out of order. So page 58 is the plasma cutter,
Okay,
and 59, there's two quotes there. We budgeted for a number of tools. This is one of the tools that they budget or wanted to purchase within that budget. So I would recommend purchasing the one from Air Gas.
I'll make a motion, we accept the bid from Air Gas for the plasma cutter.
do you have a second?
Second.
Phil, are you happy with that one?
One more,
Well, I'm just wondering, if they're that close,
Actually, Air Gas is a lot better company to get from.
it is? Okay. Well, any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Under 6J, holiday decorations replacement estimate.
And this one is back up to page 55 and 56. We budgeted $6,000 for this. This does not include shipping, and I honestly, I don't know how much it's going to cost to ship it until I actually order it. So I don't know if you want to make a motion for this purchase price plus whatever shipping is, but
So the total cost as of right now is,
5,000, or the total cost is,
there's a discount, it
yeah,
looks like.
$4,600. And we budgeted for 6,000, so.
Okay. Council?
I'll make a motion, we accept the quote for the Christmas decorations plus any shipping costs that are involved.
Thank you. Do we have a second? I didn't hear it.
I did.
Yours
Yes.
are-
I'm sorry.
Thank
Second.
you. Any other questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Under 6K, service contract for main lift station generator.
I should say, just to go back to the last one, the reason why there's only one quote in there is they're the only company that sells those specific shapes, which match the other ones that we have, so. On to the next one, the service contract for the main lift station. This year is $1,522.15. What I would like to do is, get approval to just have this as our maintenance agreement. It's an extremely expensive piece of equipment, and I think it would be a good idea to maintain it the best that we can.
So this is
We will only spend $1,500 this year, but if possible, I would just like approval to go through year by year like it states here.
okay.
So for
Does
the
council understand?
The 5-year
Yeah.
Yeah.
term.
Discussion, motion by the council?
You don't want that generator not to work.
Did we budget for this?
You know, I don't think that we did budget for this, no. But
Okay.
this year is only
And you
$1,522.
budget for the following
Yeah,
4 years?
I think that we can certainly make that work, and I do think that it's important that we do it, so.
All right. Council?
Make a motion that we do the 5-year negative service agreement as indicated on the bill here.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carried.
Do you want to go back to the,
Why don't we finish these, or this one will get kind of long, won't it?
why don't we just go back so that they can
All right,
continue to make the city safe?
and we have some people that came in, so we'll move back to the police chief's report.
Do you have that thing that Kathy sent?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mayor, council members, sorry I'm late. Been a very busy month. Our officers have been working very hard. A lot of investigations. One of our officers conducted a traffic stop, got 3 pounds of marijuana and a quarter pound of meth off of an individual. The individual also had a gun. Just got out of prison. Another one of our officers assisted on a stop in Moose Lake, and they recovered a pound of methamphetamine hidden in a vehicle. Our officers are working very hard, and we're just very lucky to have such dedicated professional police officers in this town. They really do a good job, and there is a lot of crime in this area. I still believe this is the safest town by far in this whole region, and I think a lot of that is because of the good work our officers do. I know Jamie Jungers has been just very diligent, working several investigations, and is really making a lot of progress and doing a lot of good. So I just want to thank all the officers and staff for the good work that they do. So. Travis Magdis started yesterday with us. I'm very excited to have him on board. He's going to be doing some job shadowing, field training with the officers, riding with them and learning. He is an experienced officer. He worked for the city of Crookston for a year and a half. And the nice thing is he is accurate in the new computer software that we're getting, the new system that we're getting. They have, and they've had for just 3 or 4 months now. But so I'm looking forward to he'll be able to teach us a thing or two on how to use it. So that still is moving forward. Our Zerker program hopefully will be starting first part of April. So we have training set up with the county and the Zerker trainers here in the next month and a half to get up to speed on how we use it, and we're really looking forward to it. So that's about all I have.
Sounds pretty busy, too, 153 calls.
It has been busy, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. So, Travis, if you could step forward here. And kind of face so the camera can see. Sure. I'll swear you in, then I'll just have you say just a little bit about yourself and what your goals are and your experience. So, raise your right hand. So repeat after me. I, state your name,
I, Travis Magis,
do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm,
do solemnly, sincerely, you gotta read the last part, right?
and truly declare and affirm
And truly declare and affirm
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of police officer
of police officer
with fairness, integrity,
with fairness, integrity,
diligence, and impartiality,
diligence, and impartiality.
I promise that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
I promise I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the statutes of Minnesota,
the statutes of Minnesota,
and the ordinances of Moose Lake,
the ordinances of Moose Lake,
and that I will uphold fundamental human rights
and that I will uphold fundamental human rights
and accord equal respect
and accord equal respect
to all people
to all people
according to law.
according to law.
Turn them around for the picture.
So Travis, if you want to introduce yourself to the city of Moose Lake, this is on cable TVs.
Perfect. Fantastic. Like Chief said, I'm Travis Madges. I'm originally from Duluth, Minnesota, so it's very nice to kind of get back to where I'm originally from. My whole entire mom's side lives here in Carleton County. My entire dad's side is from the Twin Ports. So like Chief said, I worked as a police officer over in Crookston for about a year and a half, so being able to kind of get back to where my family was, basically everyone is from, was very near and dear to me. So it really is a privilege. It's an honor to be able to work in a fantastic community. Just like Chief did, he did a little bit of background on me to make sure I'm fit for this position. Likewise, I did a little bit of background on him and his department. I know a couple of my buddies, close friends that work in surrounding agencies. They had nothing but fantastic things to say about the PD and the community, so it made me even more excited to be a part of it. And I can't wait to get started. I'm already having a lot of fun. I'm really, truly blessed and very fortunate to work here, and I can't wait to serve the citizens of Moose Lake. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you and good luck.
Can't see that. We'll just be calling you Travis.
Thank you. Thanks for the report, Chief. Good job. Please pass it on to the crew. Moving on to the next item, back to 6L, which is the Minnesota Municipal Clerk Institute, Year 1.
This is a training that Katie is going to attend. It is a 3-year program. I attended this. It's excellent. It teaches you many of the parts to this job. There's finance, HR, planning, all kinds of different training. So it really is a great training. There's grants for it that she has applied for as well. But I think it's great that she's going to go through this. So
Great. How long is this?
it's a week long for 3 years.
Okay, 1 week a year, and it's in St. Cloud.
Yep.
So very close. Great. And that'll be coming up.
That one's in May.
April.
April 30th, through like the 3rd or 4th. whatever
Okay.
that week is.
Very good. Do you need a motion on this, just informational?
Yeah, sure. Let's do a motion for this one, and we
Okay.
can do one for the next one too.
Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the, Katie attends the 2018 Institute for Minnesota Municipal Clerks.
Very good. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 6M, Minnesota Municipal Clerks and Finance Officer Annual Conference.
This is one that I would like to go to. I kind of need to go because they're giving me my certificate for the thing that Katie's going to during this week, so I need to be down there anyways. But this is another week-long training. I printed out the itinerary. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to go to. There's 3 or 4 different trainings in the morning and 3 or 4 different ones in the afternoon every single day. So Yeah.
And it looks like coming up in March
Yep.
here.
Yep.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second? Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carried. 6N, City Township Consolidation Tax Study.
This is the final draft of the tax study. It's still listed as a draft because after tonight, I'm going to send it to the township. The township will be able to read through it before the public hearing, just the same as I'm hoping that you all read through it before the public hearing. If there's anything that you see in there that you'd like to change or update prior to a public hearing, let me know. Likewise, the township didn't provide any information so that we could complete the study. So there is clarifiers or qualifiers in here that state basically that we didn't receive any information from the township. So if they would like to submit some different information, we would be happy to include that in the study as well. But basically, this is just informational that this is the study to date. And the next one is that I'd like to set a public hearing to present it to the public and receive questions from the public.
Any comments by the council? Questions? Very good. Hearing none, we'll go on to O, which is the tax study public hearing, which you have April 11th at 6 p.m.?
Yes, so I talked with Tammy Amdahl is the one that put this study together. I think it would be best if this was presented by Northland, not by me. I think more of just the basic information will be presented by her. Any of the questions that come up from the presentation, she can respond to, we can respond to, I can respond to. But I think at the very least, it would be a wise idea to have somebody else present this information fairly to all parties.
Very good. Now, just to remember, later, or the next item here about council starting time may change depending on what the council does, so this may be after a council meeting?
Why don't we do this? Why don't we talk about the next item and then
Well, this will add into that discussion on the time. When this,
or we could just, what we could do is you can approve a public hearing for April 11th, 2018, and I'll put the time down based on the start time for
yeah,
the council meeting.
and we could,
Unless it's on a different
let's
day.
say that the council decides to change the time. This one date, we could request that it be done at 6:30.
Let's just talk about Q and then let's come back to this one. How about that?
All right. Oops. Moving on to, you want to do P and then go to Q, then the business will be.
Yep.
We'll go on to 6P, City Building Inspector. Tim?
I met with someone today who shared some sentiments that were pretty familiar to a lot of people. Basically, the way that the inspector services are being done right now are such that they are now unwilling to develop or purchase property or do anything at all in Moose Lake. I think everyone is pretty familiar with Wiedendorf, who also has shared those sentiments. The two of them, it sounds like, sat down and talked for about 6 hours about the same thing. I think we all are pretty familiar with the fact that the list of people is growing and growing that are unwilling to do business in Moose Lake until something changes. What I would like to request is out of the norm, and I understand that. I would like to be given the authority, if possible, to meet with building inspectors and hire a new building inspector, if nothing else, at least temporarily. I called our city attorney to find out, do we need to publish an RFP? Do we need to go through a whole process? The answer is no. For professional services, we can just select somebody. The cities of Carlton and Renshaw just went through this process. Very similar to us, have selected somebody for a need that is fairly similar to ours for the most part. We have a little bit more commercial development than those communities do right now, but a pretty similar setup where they don't need a full-time building inspector, basically. And my thought initially was to just look at, I've already met with this person in the past. I've never worked with them, but seeing if we could work out a contract that is similar to what we have now with our building inspector, price-wise, but perhaps just a different level of service.
So you're looking for a motion for authority to interview and hire.
Yeah.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Going back to, going on to 6Q, City Council start time. I put end date in case there's, council decides to do something different. So I'll open that up for discussion by the council.
We just had discussion, I guess, prior to starting, or it was brought up, I guess, that it might be more beneficial to have it right after the workday, 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock?
Yes. Not for everyone. Some people could come in earlier. That was offered, but that was shot down. But
Sure.
So I think the general rules of city councils, of commissions, things like that, are that you meet at a time when the public could be generally expected to make it to a meeting. I think if you were to put it on a Sunday morning or something like that, that would not meet that. Meeting at in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, things like that, those would certainly meet that requirement. We talked about the county meets at 8:30, I think, for their meetings. So there are lots of different examples of when we could meet. I think if we were to meet at say 4 o'clock, that would be fine if that worked for all of you. The only issue that we might have is public comment. We might need to be a little bit more flexible with maybe taking people that walk in towards the end or something like that, if they don't get off till 4:30 or 5. But for the most part, I don't really see why this would be any issue to move it to 4 o'clock.
That was my only question, was guest speakers, if engineer group or whatever, I would, like we've had guest speakers in the past. That's my only question.
And I think that's similar to right now. We have set public hearings to be prior to our city council meeting. I don't see any reason why we couldn't set a public hearing to be after our city council meeting, or in the middle of our city council meeting, or anything like that. Public hearings are more a guideline of, we are not going to start discussion until such a time. There's nothing that says that you can't do it sometime shortly thereafter, or have this meeting end and wait for everyone to leave until that next public hearing time should start.
Okay, so council?
I would support that
For 4 o'clock?
for 4 o'clock.
Do we have a motion?
I'm fine anytime, so that's.
I think we will have
Go
to,
ahead.
yeah.
Do you?
Same date, are we
on a
looking at
different
the
date or
second
no?
Wednesday?
yeah.
I think the second Wednesday works fine. It's already like ingrained in my head and that's fine.
sure? Because this is going to be like your one chance to move this for,
I think changing it now would just be more headache for us for a day. And time, fine, I'm pretty flexible, but
okay,
the day doesn't bother me.
okay.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion that we change our city council start time to 4 p.m. on the same
Second Wednesday.
second Wednesday of every month.
Very good. Do we have a second?
Second?
Any further questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carried.
And I think what we'll do is we will publish that in the paper for probably a couple of weeks. We'll put it on public access, we'll put it on Facebook, we'll post it on all of our stuff, kind of treat it as a special meeting for a couple months to try and get the word out there. Not that a ton of people come each month, but there are usually a number of people that show up, so.
Well, one thing we could do for the community also, I mean, it's recorded now, we could
Replay it.
have it broadcast on Wednesday evening, the same Wednesday at, normal start time, 6:30, and it could be, or 7 after this ends, so it could be broadcast to the community.
Do we replay this, Steve?
Yeah, not that soon, no, it takes a while to put on this.
But I mean, we replay it over the course of the week. It's also on YouTube, isn't it? Okay, so I think for people that are interested in seeing it, we do, replay it a number of times. It's also on YouTube. I think that
We should, to me, we should select, and that's something you and Steve could work out, select a time and a date when it is re-shown, and we could publish that, so people know when it will be on. Because not everybody's going to sit there and look through channel 7 or 18, whatever it's on, and wait for it to come on. If we published it, and we know that it's going to be on every month at this time, this date, after our meeting, then the public would know that.
Okay, we can, when we post on Facebook and public access and all that stuff, that we are changing the meeting, perhaps we can do that at the same time as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Very good. I have nothing in number 7, reports and correspondence. Oh, I'm sorry. We have to go back to 6.0, which was the tax study public hearing for April 11th.
So how about I contact her, see if she can come at 4. If she can, I will set it at 4 o'clock. Otherwise, is it okay if we leave the public hearing for just April 11th, 2018 at 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and I will publish the correct one?
I'd be fine.
Anybody else?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Consensus made.
Well, actually, I think you need to make a motion to set a public hearing, so just do
Motion?
April 11th at 4
I'll
or
make
5 or
that
6.
motion, we accept the tax study public hearing on April 11th, 2018 at either 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whichever works for the person presenting it.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Under number 7, I have nothing, reports, correspondence. Mr. Administrator, nothing. Under 8, committee and board meeting minutes. I have 8A, Parks and Recreation meeting minutes for January 8th, 2018. 8B is Park Recreation meeting for February 5th, 2018, and 8C is the Moose Lake Fire District meeting minutes for January 9th, 2018. Do we have any questions or discussion on the minutes, board minutes?
None.
I think just a quick note on the fire district, they had 43 calls in January. And 26 in the city of Moose Lake, 11 in the Moose Lake Township, 3 in Windermere, and 3 out of the area. So very busy months for the fire district also. They did a great job. Moving on to announcements, regular Moose Lake City Council meeting Wednesday, March 14th, 6:30. Oh, wait a minute. That will be at 4, I guess.
You can't blame me for that one.
It is, Tim.
Don't even read the next one, just move on.
Do we have a new date for that?
No, it'll still be March 14th.
No, I'm talking about,
Oh, Water and Light?
yeah,
February 28th.
February 28th. Moose Lake Water and Light Commission regular meeting, Wednesday, February 28th, 4 p.m. in the conference room. Moose Lake Housing Redevelopment Authority Board, March 12th, 11 a.m., Hillside Manor office. Moose Lake Area Fire District, Tuesday, March 13th at 6:30 p.m., Emergency Response Center. They have 2 13s in there. 1313. Is that a new
It's
code?
It's reaffirming the fact
Oh,
that it's on the
okay.
13th.
Good job there, Tim. I like that.
I'm taking this section out.
Okay. Moose Lake Park Board meeting Monday, March 6th, 6:30 p.m., right here. Library Board meeting March 12th, 1:45 p.m. in the conference room. Moose Lake Technology Committee, Thursday, March 1st at 9 a.m. in the conference room. Anything from the council before we adjourn? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Have a second?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Oppose? We're adjourned. Thank you.
Say,